Welcome to Understand All. I'm your host, Aslekeir Gairleif. Today, we're tackling a crucial topic in the information age: the dangers of repeating stuff you haven't studied yourself from reliable sources. So buckle up and get ready to have your mind expanded. Have you ever confidently shared a fact with friends, only to later discover it was completely false? I know I have. It's a humbling experience that reveals just how easily misinformation can spread, even from well-intentioned people like you and me. But here's the thing. Repeating unverified information isn't just embarrassing. It can have serious consequences. False claims and misconceptions can shape public opinion, influence policies, and even put lives at risk in areas like health and science. So how do we protect ourselves and others from falling into this trap? The key is to develop a habit of verifying information before we share it. And that starts with understanding the limits of our own knowledge. You see, we humans are prone to something called the illusion of explanatory depth. That's the tendency to overestimate our understanding of complex topics. We think we grasp how something works, but when pressed to explain it step by step, we quickly realize the gaps in our knowledge. Let's try a little experiment, shall we? Without looking it up, try to explain to yourself in detail how a zipper works. Not as easy as it seems, right? And that's just a simple everyday object. Imagine how much more we overestimate our understanding of intricate political issues, scientific concepts, or historical events. This cognitive bias is just one reason misinformation spreads so easily. When we encounter a claim that seems to fit our existing beliefs or understanding, we're more likely to accept it at face value without digging deeper. But the truth is, a little knowledge can be a dangerous thing. The Dunning-Kruger effect describes how people with limited knowledge in a domain can paradoxically be more confident in their beliefs than true experts. They simply don't know enough to recognize the depth and complexity of the topic. So how can we move from illusory confidence to genuine understanding? One powerful tool is the Feynman technique, named after the brilliant physicist Richard Feynman. The core idea is that if you can't explain something simply, you don't really understand it. Here's how it works. First, choose a concept you want to learn. Then, try to explain it in plain language, as if you were teaching it to a child. This forces you to confront any jargon or assumptions and really break the idea down to its essentials. The next step is to identify the gaps or points of confusion in your explanation. Wherever you struggle, that's where you need to hit the books and learn more. The final step is to organize and simplify your explanation, distilling the core insights in a memorable way. By applying this technique to new information we encounter, we can start to build a more solid foundation of knowledge, one that's rooted in true understanding, not just superficial familiarity. But in today's fast-paced digital world, it's not always feasible to become an expert on every topic we encounter. That's where another crucial skill comes in, learning to identify trustworthy sources. Not all information is created equal, and the internet has made it easier than ever for false claims and shoddy reasoning to spread. So how can we sort the wheat from the chaff? One key indicator of reliability is the presence of citations and references to reputable sources. Look for articles and videos that link back to primary sources, such as scientific papers, government reports, or well-established news outlets. Be wary of unsourced claims or those that rely heavily on anecdotal evidence. Another red flag is the use of emotional manipulation or sensationalized language. Trustworthy sources typically present information in a measured, objective tone, allowing the evidence to speak for itself. If a claim seems designed to provoke outrage or push an agenda, proceed with caution. Of course, even the most credible-looking sources can sometimes get it wrong. That's why it's important to cross-reference information from multiple reputable outlets before treating it as fact. And if you're not sure about a claim, the responsible thing to do is to withhold judgment and keep investigating. This brings us to perhaps the most important point: the power of intellectual humility. In a world awash with information and competing claims, it takes courage to admit when we don't know something, or when we might be wrong. But this kind of humility is essential for growth and learning. It opens us up to new ideas and perspectives, and it protects us from clinging to false beliefs out of ego or stubbornness. So the next time you're tempted to share a juicy fact on social media, or repeat a claim you heard from a friend, take a moment to pause and reflect. Ask yourself, do I really understand this topic deeply enough to vouch for this information? Have I traced it back to reliable primary sources? Am I presenting it in a measured, objective way? If the answer to any of these questions is no, the wise course of action is to refrain from spreading the claim further. Instead, Take it as an opportunity to dig deeper, learn more, and model the kind of careful, critical thinking our world so desperately needs. By cultivating these habits of verification, sourcing, and humility, we can become more discerning consumers and more responsible sharers of information. We can help to stem the tide of misinformation and elevate the quality of public discourse. So let's commit together to being more diligent in our pursuit of truth. Let's question our assumptions, seek out reliable sources, and have the courage to say, "I don't know," when appropriate. In a world of fake news and alternative facts, these simple acts of intellectual integrity can be downright revolutionary. And that's our show for today. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the importance of verifying information. I hope you feel inspired to apply some of these ideas in your own life and join the ranks of responsible knowledge seekers. Until next time, stay curious, stay humble, and keep pursuing truth.